Hey everyone, welcome back to the Fad TCG YouTube channel. I'm Kieran, aka Mr. Classic.
And I'm Karol.
And today we're going to be playing an Armory Deck battle.
Today I'm going to be playing the tried and true Kayo Armory Deck. Just use raw power to get that damage in and prove to Kieran that strength rules all.
Today I'm going to be playing the brand new Dash IO Armory Deck. Features some really cool new cards like Fast and Furious, Cerebellum Processor. So I'm going to be using my superior intellect to show Karol who's boss. You know, he's got too much strength, not enough speed. I'm going to be boosting, I'm going to be cranking items, going to be getting multiple action points, just dropping the hammer on him.
So hopefully I get to just roll over those might tokens that my hero generates and just slowly pressure Kieran's life total, or maybe fast, who knows, we'll see. At the same time, I have a feeling I'm going to have to do some defending against those pesky boom grenades.
This guy's dreaming, think he's going to drop the beat down on me. I'm the deck that's going to go fast. So what I want to be doing is I want to boost a lot. I want to be cranking my items off the top of my deck for additional action points and generate a little bit of card advantage. Do a bit of recycling going on with the backup protocols. Maybe draw some cards with the Cerebellum Processor. Basically, it's boost plus items. Who knows, maybe a cheeky maximum velocity here and there. And he thinks he'll be defending. He's right. He'll be blocking. Well, anyway, that's enough talking from us. Let's take it to the playmat. See who's boss. Hey everyone, I'm Kieran. Now because the Dash IO Armory Deck is quite new, what I'm going to do is just do a quick rundown to show off some of the new cards, some of the cool interactions you can do, and maybe just a few tips and tricks for how to get the most out of your deck. Okay, so what I'm going to start with is two of the powerhouse Majestics that are in this Dash IO Armory Deck, being Fast and Furious and Cerebellum Processor. Fast and Furious is a zero cost red Mechanologist attack action with boost. If you crank this turn, it gets +1 power, and when this is banished from boosting, put a steam counter on an item you control with crank. So because a lot of your game plan involves playing items with crank, either off the top of your deck or from your hand, this is a really fantastic utility card that goes with it, because most of the time you're wanting to crank anyway, so then it's coming in as a 0-4 go again card. Also some cool little tricks you can do is if you attack for 3 with boost and then find a red boom grenade on top, if your opponent defends with 3, you can actually crank this off the top, give it +1, and suddenly you're coming over for 1 point of damage, plus the boom grenade hits. The other awesome utility side of this card is that if it's banished from boosting, you get to put a steam counter on an item you control with crank. As most of your impactful items actually have crank, this makes it a really cool card that if, for example, you maybe have 2 Fast and Furious, there's one on the top of your deck, you play one, you're boosting this card, it gets banished, and then you get to put the counter on a high value item, probably something like a boom grenade or your Cerebellum Processor, which we'll get through to next. Now, Cerebellum Processor is the really exciting new item from the Armory Deck. So this is a Mechanologist item. It's blue. It has crank, which means as it enters the arena, you may remove a steam counter from it. If you do, gain an action point. So it comes into play with 2 steam counters, then at the start of your turn you destroy it unless you remove a steam counter from it. Now it also has once per turn action, draw a card. This might look a little bit interesting to people saying, but like if I have to use my action point to draw a card, isn't that kind of a high price to pay? But the really cool interaction that Dash has is she is able to crank items off the top of the deck. Dash IO reads, you may look at the top card of your deck at any time. Once per turn you may play a Mechanologist item with cost 0 or 1 from the top of your deck as though it were an instant. It costs an additional resource to play. What that means is that if you crank in an item off the top of your deck, something like a backup protocol, a boom grenade, a dissolving shield, just as examples, what you can do, they come in with crank, they haven't taken an action point to play up. What that means is that you now have 2 action points. So you're able to use that additional action point, if you'd like to draw a card from the Cerebellum Processor. There's also just other play lines where if you have this in play, you can play out your entire hand with boost. Most of the attack actions in your deck actually have boost, so you can go boost with go again, boost with go again, boost with go again, no cards in hand, so you still have an action point remaining. If you don't want to fire with your Symbiosis shot, instead you can draw a card off the Cerebellum and set up that 5-card hand for next turn. So there's lots of really cool ways to use this card. Another one that sort of starts on board is the Heavy Industry Gear Shift, which is a new Mechanologist equipment from the Armory Deck. This has Battle on 1 and says action, destroy this. Banish the top 2 cards of your deck, gain 1 action point for each Mechanologist card banished this way. Now, because your whole deck is mech cards, you're basically just always going to net an extra action point, so you use your action point for this and you get 2 back. What this means is you have that spare action point, and if you want to use it to draw a card off Cerebellum Processor, you can, Or like I mentioned, there's plenty of other things to do with that as well. I just want to point out the weapon, the Symbiosis Shot. This is a dash specialization. It has whenever a mechanologist item enters the arena under your control, if this has fewer than 6 steam counters, you may put a steam counter on this. Because you're playing out lots of items, either from hand or top of deck, this stacks up pretty quickly. Now, really importantly, this is not once per turn. So if you do end up with multiple action points, and you don't sort of have an action point sink, something like the processor, you can fire off multiple shots in a single turn with a Symbiosis Shot. So that's really good to know that while you're playing the deck, if you crank items off the top, you have that spare action point at the end. Don't forget to get in your extra damage off the Symbiosis. You can also use it with the legs if you need to push those final few little points of damage. Some of the other cool pieces of equipment here, we have the Heavy Industry Surveillance, which is a Mechanologist head. So this has temper and defense for 1, but when this defends, you may banish the top card of your deck. If it's a Mechanologist card, this gets +1 defense until end of turn, so pretty easy just to push this in and defend for 2. Because Dash IO cares so much about what card is on top, a lot of the time you do want an item, so you're going to be able to make use of a hero ability. It's cool if you see a card that you don't want on top, you can defend with this, banish that card, and just sort of start digging your way through the deck in order to find that next item. The Heavy Industry Power Plant is Mechanologist Chest with Temper 2, so very strong defensive piece. So it has action, pay 1 resource, destroy this. Whenever you boost this turn, gain a resource. And this activation has go again, so it won't use up your action point. So the Heavy Industry Power Plant opens up some playlines where sometimes a blue in hand just isn't going to cut it. So one example is where I might have a maximum velocity in my arsenal, and I have 1 blue card available to pitch. So what I want to do here is pay 1 resource to activate the Heavy Industry Power Plant. I then play my Fast and Furious with boost. So now I go up to 3 resources. I then pay 1 resource to zip a hit with boost, getting back that resource. I then use 2 resources to play Throttle, and that gets me back 1 more resource. And now I get to play the maximum velocity for a really cool turn that just wouldn't quite work if I didn't have access to this chest. That's just one example of getting the absolute maximum value out of it, but there's a lot of cool examples where you might just have like a yellow pitch in hand or a red pitch, and it just really opens up the entire turn. Finally, there's the Heavy Industry Ram Stop. This is a Mechanologist equipment arms. It has Temper 1. Has the ability, when this defends, you may pay a resource. If you do, it gets +1 defense until end of turn. Probably what you're thinking is that you don't necessarily always want to be pitching a blue card out of hand just to give something +1 to defend. But because of Dash IO's hero ability, the good thing about this is that you can actually often make use of that additional resource. If you're getting attacked and like you really just don't have a hand that attacks very well, one line of play is that you pitch out your blue or even yellow card to activate the Heavy Industry Ram Step, and then with the 2 additional resources you have floating, you're able to perhaps play an item off the top of your deck. So one example is if you're trying to be defensive, you pump this up to 2, use your hero ability and play out a Dissolving Shield off the top, which comes in with 3 counters. And Dissolving Shield is an item, basically says comes in with 3 steam counters, and instant, remove a steam counter from this to prevent the next 1 damage that would be dealt to you this turn. So by doing this, you're able to get +1 on the defense, maybe pitch a no block like an item, and then get an additional 3 points from something like Dissolving Shield. So as you can see, the Dash IO Armory Deck offers some really cool new tools to Dash, as well as just being a great play out of the box experience. Your equipment synergizes really well with your hero ability, your weapon, and your general game plan. And also on top of that, it makes sure that while your deck has a lot of items that don't defend very well, these equipments really help mitigate that potential downside to the hero. Cards like Fast and Furious are just fantastic utility cards. They're really good on offense. They're really good if they're boosted away, helping you keep your items around for additional turn. Basically just does everything you want it to do. Cerebellum Processor is a blue and an item with crank, so it kind of just ticks all the boxes that you wanted to for Dash IO, and also has the ability that when you do generate additional action points, either through your hero ability or through the legs, that you can utilize these to draw additional cards to really set up these super powerful 5-card hands. All in all, it's a really fun, really synergistic deck. It's a hero that you always get to look at the top cards, so you can sort of bluff out your opponent at times, get some extra information for yourself, whether on offense or defense. Definitely a really fun hero to play, so make sure to pick up your Dash IO Armory Deck, get out there, have some great games in the Flesh and Blood.
Alright, Kieran, you ready to play some Flesh and Blood?
Let's do this, bro. Let's do this. Always odd every time.
Alright.
Yeah, let's go. I am going to start.
Sounds good.
What I probably don't want to happen is go second, have items, and take a bunch of damage, so...
True.
Okay, this is looking interesting. So I'm going to... So Dash IO, if you're wondering why I'm just massively cheating and looking at the top card of my deck. The hero reads, you may look at the top card of your deck at any time. Once per turn, you may play a mechanologist item with cost 0 or 1 from the top of your deck as though it's an instant. It costs an additional resource to play. I think all I'm going to do is play out a Boom Grenade. Boom Grenade has Crank, so items with Crank say as it enters the arena, you may remove a steam counter from it. If you do, get an action point. So this enters the arena with a steam counter. Start of your turn, destroy this unless you remove a steam counter from it. When a mechanologist attack action card you control hits a hero, destroy this and deal 4 damage to them. So because I played an item, a Symbiosis Shot, which is a dash specialization weapon, this reads, whenever a mechanologist item enters the arena under your control, if it has fewer than 6 counters, you may put a steam counter on this. And then in order to attack, it's just action, remove a steam counter from it. Pass priority.
Sounds good.
And then Arsenal pass.
Alright, so Kieran's got a Boom Grenade, which is pretty threatening. What I'm going to do is try and strip as many cards as I can from you, or put as much pressure with damage. So I'm going to start off with Pulping. Now Pulping says, when this attacks, draw a card, then discard a random card. If a card with 6 or more power is discarded this way, this gets Dominate, which means this can't be defended by more than 1 card from hand. If this is defended by fewer than 2 non-equipment cards, it gets Go Again. So let's hope this doesn't get defended with 2 cards from hand. Pitching 2, I'm going to draw a card. Kieran, I'll let you do the honors.
Middle card. Humble.
So this has 6 power, so it turns on the Pulping ability, but also it gets me a Might token. My hero says, when the first time you discard a card with 6 or more power during each of your action phases, create a Might token. So yeah, setting up and pushing damage.
I will say no blocks. I'm gonna go ahead and take 6 here.
Okay. Now I have an option here. I could attack you with this Bear Fangs for a lot of damage, or I could attack you with this Strength Rules All, which has a great on hit. So I'm going to choose the Majestic here. I'm going to attack with Strength Rules All, pitching the Bear Fangs. This says when this hits a hero, turn a card in their arsenal face up, then banish an attack action card in their arsenal with power less than the damage dealt this way.
You know what, Karol? Dash is you gotta go fast. I didn't come here to block with cards from hand.
Okay.
So let's let this industry equipment do a bit of heavy lifting. I'm gonna push all of these in.
Yeah.
So some of these do have effects, so we'll run through those in a moment. So the chest just has temper 2. So this is defending for 2. These are all baseline 1. Heavy industry surveillance reads, when this defends, you may banish the top card of your deck. If it's a mechanologist card, this gets +1 defense until end of turn. It's temper 1, so I am actually going to use this. Banish the top card.
Yeah.
So now I am defending for 2, 4, 5, 6.
Something tells me the Strength Rules All would have been a pretty sweet attack to connect with, but sounds good. Defend it out. Your turn.
Right, you got too much strength, not enough speed, but I'm about to show you what's up.
Alright, Kieran, show me what you got.
Oh, bro, I've got the 5-carder. I'm about to show you the power of Dash IO. Okay, so I've defended with all my equipment here because I wanted to keep my full hand and arsenal. The reason for this is because I have one of those hands that the Dash IO players dream of, the maximum velocity. I have a boost card in arsenal, I have 2 boost cards in hand, I've got the yellow boom grenade, and the maximum velocity, which means I can play all 3 of my 0-cost boost cards, itch the boom grenade, play the maximum velocity, and every single one of these attacks is going to be threatening the red boom grenade on hit that I have on board to deal 4 damage to Karol. I mean, he has his full fridge up, he's got a full hand, but I'm really hoping maybe I can catch him with like a no block or some 2 blocks in hand and just sneak through those points of damage, get tempo, get back into this game. Counter comes off the boom grenade. I'm going to start things off. Good luck, bro. Data link for 1. So, just a mechanologist attack action. It's blue with boost. It comes in for 1. On hit, op 1. And sadly, the maximum velocity is going into the bin.
Alright, so you've defended with all that equipment for this, eh? Okay. I'll defend for 1.
Sweet, now what? Okay, well, I'm going to have a look at the top card. Okay. This is so sick. This could not have gone any better. So I did boost away maximum velocity, which kind of hurt. But then when I looked at the top card, because of my hero ability, which lets me do so, I saw another red boom grenade on top. This actually lines up absolutely perfectly, because what I can do now is I can pitch the yellow boom grenade to activate the heavy industry power plant. It gives me the perfect 2 resources for maximum velocity. So this could not have gone any better for me. Gonna go ahead and close the chain.
All right. Sounds good.
Then I'm going to pitch a yellow boom grenade, pay 1 resource. I'm going to activate the heavy industry power plant. So this is pay 1, action destroy this. Whenever you boost this turn, gain a resource. And this activation has go again. Then I am going to use the remaining resource.
Okay.
Crank in a red boom grenade off the top.
Oof. All right.
Then I'm going to come in with another data link, but a red this time. So I'm coming in for 3, go again, boost, gaining a resource.
Okay. I can stop this. I'll defend it for 3.
Don't know if you guys can see it, but Karol's definitely starting to noticeably sweat right now. So
Yeah, keep on attacking me for 1 and 3 with those boom grenades. Nice one.
Okay, now I'm gonna play Fast and Furious from Arsenal. So this is one of like the super cool Majestics from the Dash IO Armory Deck. This kind of just does everything you want to do in Dash IO. Mechanologist red attack action with boost comes in for 3 attack base, but if you've cranked an item this turn, this gets +1. So, bam. When this is banished from boosting, put a steam counter on an item you control with crank. So it's great. So if you've cranked, it gets a bonus, kind of becomes like a red 0 to 60. But if you have items in play and you boost it to one of your other cards, you get to sort of keep them around for an additional turn. So really nice addition for Dash IO. And this will actually get me an additional resource because of the power plant.
Okay.
So coming in for 4.
This is a little bit more threatening, but I can still deal with this by defending for 3 and high tanner for 1, covering all 4.
Okay. And now we just really hope Karol doesn't have 2-3 blocks in hand, because we're going to fire down maximum velocity. So this is a Mechanologist attack action. 2 cost, comes in for 10. You can play it only if you've boosted 3 or more times this turn. And oh wait, 1, 2. Oh, that's right, 3. So
All right, and if it hits, I lose. It deals 8 damage thanks to the boom
I'm
grenades.
just going to move these 2 boom grenades just over here.
Yep. Oh, all right. I wish I had 2-3 blocks. I'm almost there. I can almost defend this. Show you a little secret. I do have the rally, Kieran. I have the rally, the rear guard.
Yes.
But it's not going to be enough to defend this, so no blocks. I'll take 18.
So take 18. Do you want to tap your life total down? You just
Sure. Do that on this.
Oh, this is great. Okay, so you take 18.
Yeah.
The boom grenades go to the graveyard. Pretty fast and furious, Karol. Oh, actually, I've just realized I've missed 2 important things. So, firstly, when I played the second boom grenade, I was actually meant to get a counter on Symbiosis shot.
Oh, yeah.
And because I cranked it, I actually have an additional action point as well.
Oh,
so,
true.
Fortunately, because we're kind of playing, we're all friends here, right? I've got to go ahead and attack you for 2.
Yeah, sure thing. No blocks. Take 2. All right, Kieran, I'll let you get away with it this time. I'm keeping my eye on you.
Yes, so Dash IO, there's a lot going on. You're looking at the top card of your deck, there's steam counters on weapons and items, there's action points to manage, so, just a small tip, don't be like me. Just make sure you're paying attention while the game is going on, because like we noticed there, you don't want to miss those 2 critical points of damage, which could make or break your game. Luckily for me here, this is casual. I've known Karol for a long time, so he gave me the benefit of the doubt on this one.
Start of my turn, this might pops +1 to my first attack, and I'll just attack you with this Rally the Rear Guard for 7.
7. Okay, well, I've got a bit of a life lead here, so you know what? I'm just going to say no blocks. I'm going to take 7.
Good.
So I'm going to start my turn by using Dash IO.
Oh, wow. Again?
So I'm going to crank in a backup protocol off the top. And as we all know, I get an additional action point and counter my Symbiosis shot. I'm going to attack you for 3 go again with 0 to 60, boosting.
You know what? No blocks.
Okay.
Feeling kind of safe here.
Feeling lucky, punk.
You've used up all your boom grenades, Kieran. You've got no gas left.
Activate the backup protocol.
Yeah.
Let's keep things fast and furious this turn. Getting back to fast and furious.
Sweet.
Going to attack for 4 with go again. Well, I assume go again. Oh, what do you know? So I'm coming in for 4 with boost. So, but if I really, so the cerebellum processor, one of the coolest items around for Dash IO. So I have banished it this time, but it's a 0 cost blue mechanologist item, one of the like awesome new majestics in this Dash Armory deck. It enters the arena with 2 steam counters. At the start of your turn, destroy this unless you remove a steam counter from it. And once per turn action, 0 cost, draw a card. So it does use up your action point, but in spots like these where I've cranked an item off the top, got the additional action points, or generated them through some other way, really nice just having that additional card draw.
I'll just defend it with my Savage Sash for 2 here and take 2.
Then I am going to use my first action point to attack you for 2.
Yep, getting pretty low here, but I'm just going to take it here.
And then I'm going to close the chain and just play out a Dissolving Shield. So this is a mechanologist item, red, 0 cost with crank. So crank items, as we've said before, you can remove the steam counter and save the action point effectively. So I'm not going to crank this one. So it's going to come with 3 counters. Enters 3 steam counters. At the start of your turn, destroy this unless you remove a steam counter from it. An instant, remove a steam counter from this. Prevent the next 1 damage that would be dealt to you this turn. If it has no steam counters, destroy it. So it's pretty cool here. I get to end my turn with sort of a extra 3 block on board almost with the card in Arsenal. I'm also 10 life ahead. It's...
Yeah, you missed your symbiosis shot again.
Yep, tick that one up.
Alright, okay. Let's see the power of Kayo with full grip. Now, it wasn't just by chance that I defended with the Savage Sash, because I'm going to be popping it at the start of my action phase. Action, destroy this. Attack action cards with 6 or more power, cost you 1 less to play this turn. Go again. So I am playing catch up here, but I do have the Savage Sash, and it aligns with my hand so well. I have the multiple go again attacks with Wild Ride and Pulping, and a Strength Rules All to present a massive on hit. A lot of Kieran's arsenal targets are low to the ground boost cards, so hopefully this Strength Rules All gets rid of another card from his disposal. So destroy this, and I'll start things off with Wild Ride. Pitching a blue, this only costs me 1 thanks to Savage Sash. When this attacks, draw a card, then discard a random card. If a card with 6 or more power is discarded this way, this gets go again. Alright, Kieran, pick a card, any card.
This one. Ooh, we got the Strength Rules All.
Now that is a card I wanted to keep, I'm not gonna lie, but it is what it is. Now my hero ability triggers and I do get it might.
I'm going to just say no blocks here. I'm going to take 6.
Well, how about a Pulping? This costs me 1. When this attacks, draw a card and discard a random card. If 6 or more is discarded this way, this gets Dominate. And if you can't defend with 2 cards, it gets go again as well. So this is coming in for 6.
So I do have to think here about the Dissolving Shield because I really want to get the full amount of value from it, right? But because Kayo used the Savage Sash and went go again attack into go again attack, I feel there's one more attack coming, and I really don't want it to be some sort of disruption thing like the Strength Rules All, like a Humble or something like that.
I definitely had more than these in my hand, by the way. I'm just going to tell you that now.
So I think this one, it's a hand where I want to keep most of it, probably only defend with 1 card. So you know what? I'm going to say no blocks. I'm going to take 6 from this Pulping.
Sounds good. And finally, Strength Rules All. Nah, I'm just kidding. It's a Wreak Havoc. I really wish it was one of these, but this is defense reactions can't be played this chain link. When this hits a hero, you may turn a card in their arsenal face up, then banish a defense reaction in their arsenal. I know you probably don't have defense reactions in your deck, but even seeing a little bit of what you got coming can be pretty...
Bit of information.
Yeah, a bit of information. Everything was going according to plan. I played the wild ride. I'm pumping out the damage, but unfortunately I drew and discarded the strength rules all. Now it still gives me a lot of damage, but I am lacking that major on-hit to thread in that arsenal card. So the Red Havoc still is presenting 6 damage, and it has a similar on-hit to strength rules all, but because Kieran doesn't really run defense reactions, it's just not as powerful as the Majestic.
I'm not super concerned about the on-hit, but I do just want to try and get full value out of my Dissolving Shield here. So I'm going to defend for 3 and remove all 3 counters to prevent the last 3 points of damage from that.
Sounds good. And that's all I've got for you, Kieran. Back to you.
So I'm going to start by playing a Boom Grenade with Crank.
Sounds good.
Taking up my Symbiosis shot. Start things off with a Zipper hit. So this is a yellow, so it's coming in for 4. I'm going to boost. So this is coming in for 4 with Go again.
I'll defend with a Clash of Agility and a Knucklehead. And this triggers... When this defense clash with the attacking hero, the winner creates an Agility token.
Oh, just thinking.
Oh.
Could respond here.
Okay, you can... Priority is yours, Kieran.
You have 3 cards in hand. Okay, no, I think
None of them defend.
I think that's fine. So I could have put this in off the top.
Ooh, okay. So my pulping wins, and I do get an Agility.
You do.
But I think more importantly on this turn, I know that Kieran's got a Boom Grenade here.
Yep, and it's actually just going to get boosted away, I think. So I'm going to come in.
Ooh, okay.
I'm going to come in with Throttle for 6, and I'm going to boost. So it's coming in for 6 Go again, threatening the yellow Boom Grenade. So yeah, I know Karol is the Agility, so I really want to try and pressure him on this turn.
This is a really interesting spot. My brute instincts are telling me to just go aggro, but I'm going to play conservatively just because of the Boom Grenade. I'm just going to defend it for 6.
Yep, and then I will just attack you for 2.
Sounds good. Take 2.
Okay,
all right.
And I pass the turn to you.
Now sadly, I'm going to have to use up both of my tokens. I'm just going to Arsenal and pass.
Okay, so start of my turn, this Boom Grenade is going to hit the bin. So I'm going to start by cranking a backup protocol red. I am going to play Fast and Furious.
Oh, another one?
Because I've cranked, it does get +1 on this turn, and I am going to boost.
Okay.
The red backup protocol here is actually fantastic for me. Because I have a blue in hand, what this lets me do is play the backup protocol with Crank, so I keep my action point, and this gives me a counter on my Symbiosis shot. And also it means the Fast and Furious that I have in hand now will get +1 because I've cranked an item this turn. I can play the Fast and Furious, I can then recur with the resources from the blue, getting back the Fast and Furious to play for another 4 points of damage, and then I can use the last remaining resource to play out my Zipper hit and finish with a gun attack. So suddenly we're looking at sort of a 14 plus damage turn off the back of the red backup protocol here.
Alright, this is getting scary with potential Boom Grenades on the top of Kieran's deck, but I've seen so many. Surely he doesn't have another one. I could defend with his Knucklehead and a card from hand, but I'm just gonna say no blocks here. Risk it. Alright, go to 7.
Okay then, well in that case, we really want to put the pressure on. So I'm going to close the chain.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to pitch to the backup protocol.
Yeah.
Get back Fast and Furious.
Sounds good.
And what do you know, Deja Vu. Play this for 4 Go again with boost.
If you have a Boom Grenade, I'm just dead.
That life total's looking a little low.
I'm just getting worried about any possible Boom Grenades. I'm just going to defend this for 4 here.
We got him. Okay, then I'm going to play a Zipper hit yellow with boost.
The good thing is you do not have any resources, so you can't get a Boom Grenade in there. So I'm just going to take this.
Okay, so looks like Karol's wanting to keep some cards in hand to make this a good turn. So I think this is here where like we really want to get at least 1 card from your hand and put the pressure on.
Fair enough.
So what I am going to do is close the chain. Then I'm going to activate the Heavy Industry Gear Shift. So this is a Mechanologist Legs equipment. So action, destroy this, banish the top 2 cards of your deck, gain 1 action point for each Mechanologist card banished this way. So I'm going to use this and banish 2 cards.
Ooh.
So this puts me up to 2 action points. So the reason I'm doing this, I guess pretty clear to you, is I want to be attacking you twice. So I'm just going to shortcut a little bit here, but I'm going to remove 2 steam counters use both my action points, and attack you for 2 and then 2.
Okay, so I'll take the first 2, and then I'll defend the second 2.
So yeah, and that's what I think, because I kind of know Karol has a pulping as well. I just really want to basically get him down as low life as possible on that turn.
Quite behind now. What I'm gonna do is I'll start off with a Wild Ride, pitching a blue, 1 resource up, draw a card.
This one.
Oh, it's the pulping. I was kind of hoping to keep that one. Okay, so a few things happen here. My KO ability triggers, I get a Might token. This gets Go Again from its ability, and it also triggers my Hide Tanner, which says when you discard a random card with 6 or more power, you may destroy this. If you do, create 2 Might tokens. So I think I won't probably get another chance to do this, so might as well do it now. 6 Go Again.
Okay, well you're on 1, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and take 6 here.
And then I will Mandible Claw for 3 with Go Again.
Yep, I'm going to go down to 2.
Okay. And that's all I got. Your turn, Kieran. Hopefully I get to keep at least 1 card the next turn, so I can use these Might tokens.
So now, Karol was making fun of this before, but when you're on 1 life, the blue data link is pretty threatened.
That is true.
Coming for 1 Go Again.
Luckily, I've got a pretty sweet answer to that.
No.
Battlefront Bastion. When this defends alone, prevent the next 1 damage that will be dealt to you this turn. So I do have a little prevention shield from the Battlefront Bastion.
I'm going to follow up with a red throttle. So I'm going to boost here. So I'm really kind of hoping there's like an item an extra item here would be awesome for the Symbiosis shot and the extra action points. Anyway, coming in for 6 Go Again.
Too easy, Kieran. I'll defend 5 and use the prevention here.
Yep, but actually I think I might have lethal anyway, so I'm going to Fast and Furious boost for 3.
Yeah, I got the bear fangs.
Yep, and I was going to find the item for 2 more attacks.
Ooh, nice.
Good game.
Good game.
All right, what a game. I feel like I got you pretty good with that triple boost, using the chest, double boom grenade, maximum velocity turn.
I swear, if that was 1 less boom grenade, or if I had 1 more 3 block in hand, I think I had you. Honestly.
Yeah, you would have saved a lot of lives, but coulda, woulda, shoulda. I think it was really cool to just showcase like how sick those cards like Fast and Furious are. Such a versatile card, whether it's just being boosted from the deck, whether it's just being played out. And man, just reminded me like how much fun Dash IO is to play, right?
For sure, yeah. Being able to look at the top of your deck is just amazing. It's just any deck wishes they could do that. It just gives you that extra bit of information for when you're boosting, when you're trying to plan out your turn, which is really cool.
And it's really cool because you also have that additional bluff factor, right? At all times, you're like, okay, I'm coming in for 4, 1 resource up. So you want to block for 3? Let me just have a quick look at the top card. The boom grenade's always threatening, the additional action points, and some really cool synergies, I think, within your equipment as well.
Now, if you want to try these armory decks yourself, you can head down to your local game store and pick them up, and they're a great way to get into the game, specifically the classic constructed format.
And the Dash IO deck will actually be available in stores from October 18th, which, Karol, is actually just a couple of weeks before Worlds, I believe. So it's going to be really cool to see players experimenting around with some of these cards. Wouldn't be totally surprised if we saw Dash IO show up at Worlds off the back with some of these. It's just going to be really cool to see how it shakes things up.
As always, head to your local game store, catch some great games, and we'll see you on the next one.